Hello friend, welcome back. In our previous video, we successfully complete our change password option. So now in this video, I want to work with our user profile image. So if you want to work with this user profile image, first of all, I want to do I want to add some of the default image. So that will be, I just take one of the image. So as a download.jpg. So now go to our project directory. So that is our project as a my blog project, and into the media. So into the media folder here, I just added one of the pictures. So that is the download.jpg. Okay. So if you want to working with these images, then we have to add some of the things in our URL, right? So right now I just simply remove everything, and in our main path, that means in our main blog project, into the URL. So into the URL area, first of all, we have to import our settings, right? So from here, first of all, I just load it. I have already discussed about that things with you, friends. So that is the Django and the conf, right? That is the config, and from here we have to input the settings. So that is our settings, right? And also from Django, to the Django, then the contrib, and then our static files, and then URLs. From to the static files URLs, from here we have to import that static, we have to import that static files URL pattern. So that is, I have already discussed about that things with you in fundamental, that is a URL and pattern. Okay, that is URL pattern. So make that sure you add it. So if you're working with these images, we have to add our settings and then our static files, and from URL we have to import that static and the static files URL patterns. And also here after this we have to add as a URL patterns, and from here there is a plus equal that our static files URL pattern. That means that's one static file URLs patterns. Here we have to load it, and also another URL patterns. From URL patterns, it should be as a plus equal and then static. So with this static here, we have to add two of these things. We have to add that media URL and the media route, right? So with the settings, that means the settings, and into the settings area, that is how will be as a media underscore URL, right? So that will be our media URL. If you go to our settings, into the settings, I have already added both of this. You can see there is a media root and the media URL. So now first of all we have to add both of these. So that will be in our settings and the media URL, and into the media URL, and now after that there is our document root, document underscore root. So that's the default one, friend. We have to use it if you want to working with the images. So that is our settings, and from here we have to add that media root. Okay, media, and then media that root. Okay, so we have to add it. And also into the media area, into the media folder, I have already loaded one of the picture as a download.jpg. So as I told here, I want to do, when this user will be logged in, then this user profile image will be visible. So if this user have already some of the profile image, then it should be visible, rather than when this user will create one of the profile, by default one of the image will be visible, and that will be our by default image. Okay, so it should be as a by default image, and then if this user want to update new image, then he can update it. So if you want to do that work here, I want to visible it in our profile. So that means our profile.html. So now go to our profile, that is a profile.html. So into the profile.html area, I want to put one of the conditions. So after that profile, so here I want to put one of the if condition. Everything will be more clear to you, don't worry. So here I take one of the if condition, and with this, so here I added one of the if condition, and if that with the user. So with this user, if you go to our that is our app logging, if you go to our app logging models, into the models area, you can see that is actually I take our all that relation and I name it with our user profile, and with this user profile we get all that our details from our user class, and I take the things with this variable. So with this user, we can actually access our all that field. You can see we access our username, we access our email, and the first name, the last name. So now with this user, so that is our model. So with this user, I want to do there is another field for our images, that means the profile pic, right? So I have already created one of the table, and that is our table field as a profile picture. So now I want to access our this user, our relation name, and I name it with our user profile. So now with this user, I name it our user profile. That means this will be assign our this user all that field. Okay, and then after that, here I want to do if this user as a user profile, then I want to add one of the images. So here, that means our default images, and else it should be display our default image. So I name it another one as else. Okay, else it should be display another one, and after that we have to AND it. That means the AND if condition, right? So here I want to load one of the image tag, image src. Into the image src should be our dynamic image. That means which image this user updated. Okay, so here it should be dynamic one of the image, and else rather than it should be if this user profile there have any user. Okay, that means if this user have, if you go here, if this user have any profile image, then it should be display on particular this portion rather than it should be display our default image. So now first of all I want to put it, so that will be as a dynamic. So that is in our media. Okay, that is in our media, and then with this user, so with this user I want to display our which page. I want to display our field name. So that is in our model. So with this user, our relation name with our user profile. So with this user profile I want to access our this field. That means that is our additional new field as a profile picture. So now I want to access it. So that should be display our profile image, and also rather than else it should be display our this static image. So here in our media folder I have already added one of the download.jpg. So it should be as a static one of the image into the media, and then our download. Okay, download.jpg. Rather than it should be display our this image, that means our default image. Okay, so now let's check this out. If you now click as a save all, first of all I want to check it, everything is running well, and now I want to refresh it. Yes, you can see it's now perfectly display our default image. So right now this user didn't update any images in our particular this field area. That means in our they have the one field as a profile piece, right? So here I didn't upload any images for the reasons by default our default image is visible. That means our this image is visible. And here also if you want to put one of the bootstrap class as a round circle, you can use it. So better here I want to put on the class, and I name it as a rounded circle. Okay, rounded circle. So now if you click as a save all, now refresh it, yeah, you can see now it's actually the rounded circle. So now also I want to add that class. I want to add that class for our dynamic picture. So that will be our same class. I hope it's very much clear to you, friend. So now our image is visible. So also here if you want to put some of the white for this image, you can put that white right now. That is our class. So here after this I put one of the white, and white as a 120 pixel. Now let's check this out again. Click as a save all, refresh it. Yeah, it's now perfect. So that is the image size I want to use, that is a white. So I just copy it and also I paste it for our dynamic image. So now here what exactly we have to do, like here I want to add one of the button for change that image. So when this user actually created some of the account, by default our default image will be visible, right? And after that they have the two portion. Like here I want to add one of the button for the change image. So first of all, if this user want to change their profile image, then that is our default image will be replaced with our new image, right? That means this user new image. And after that, if this user want to update their image again, then what exactly it should be replaced? It should be replaced that current image, right? That might be some of the current image. Then this current image will be replaced by the new image. So they have the two portion. I hope you can well understand about it, friends. So don't worry, when I actually activate it, then everything will be more clear to you. So right now they have the default image. I want to do first work is I want to replace our this default image to the user new image. Okay, so how can do that work? For doing this, here I want to add one of the button. So that is our src here. Okay, here I want to take one of the bracket, and I just take one of the href, and I take one of the button name as a change. Sorry, I name it as a change. I name it as a change profile in picture. Okay, I name it as a change profile picture, and here better I put one of the class. I put that class as a btn info, and then btn sm. So this type of one of the button I want to create. Click as a save all, and now if you refresh it, yeah, you can see there is actually one of the button as a change profile. So right now, first of all, I want to create one of the function for change this profile. Like if you click as a change profile, then this user can able to change their default image. It should be replaced with our this user new image, right? So for doing this, we have to work in our form. That means right now that is URL, we don't need this, and then the view will be needed. Profile, that models, and then setting, we don't need the setting. So for doing this, first of all, we have to work in our app logging and with the form, and with the form area, so into the model. So in the model, that is actually our field, right? So now first of all, I want to take our this user profile. So if you want to take it, first of all, we have to input it, right? So that is in our form, in our app. That means from our app logging, that is our models. So app logging models, from here I want to input our this class, that is our user profile. Because of only the user profile class area, I have added our field for the profile, right? So now I just simply import it, and then also I want to create one of the class. I create one of the class, and I just name it as a profile piece. And first of all, here we have to load the form. That means our Django default forms, and then I want to do it will be inherited our model form. That means that Django, they have the another model form. So now I want to load it, so it should be inherited our Django model form. And then I want to add our class. That means I want to create another meta class, and that will be as a meta into the meta class area with this model. Okay, with this model, I want to add our this class, that means our user profile, and now I just simply load it. So now for the change profile picture, I want to do in our view, that means in our app view, here we have to create one of the function, right? So this function also will be as a logging required because of all this profile, that is our profile picture. So when this user actually logging, and after that logging, user can change their profile, right? So it should be as a logging required, and then I name it as a dev. One of the function name, I name it as a add. Okay, add profile or pro picture. I just name it, and it should be past that request, and then I want to take one of the form. So from will be our, I have created one of the class, so that is our profile picture, right? So now I want to access it. So here I just simply access it. So that will be our profile picture. So if you want to access it, first of all, we have to import it, right? So you have to input it from our forms. I have already input our sign up form, the user profile change, and now I want to add our new one as a profile piece. Perfect. So that is our profile piece, and after that I want to return it. That means from here it should be return with the render, and into the return render with the request I want to create one of the page for this as a in our app logging. Into the app logging area I want to create one of the page. For that means when actually user click on here, it should be loaded one of the another page. So that's the page I want to create. So in our app logging, I want to create one of the new page, and I just name it as a pro. Okay, pro picture, that means a profile picture add .html. So this type of one of the page I want to create. I just copy it. Sorry, I didn't save it. So open it. So it should be as a profile picture ad. So I just copy it, and now I just simply create one of the new one as a profile picture ad, and here it should be as a profile picture ad.html. And also there is our form. I want to pass that form in our diction area. So if you want to pass it, so with the context, that will be our diction, into the diction that will be our form, and I pass it our form. So now we can actually use that form in our page, that means our pro picture ad.html page, that means here. So it should be just like our logging. Okay, from now logging, I just copy everything from here, and now in our pro page I load it. So it should be extended our base HTML, and also here I want to load one of the form, and I want to load one of the crispy form. And the title will be, our title will be as a profile picture update. So that will be as a profile picture update. And now, and here it should be as a add your profile picture. Okay, it should be as a show as a add your profile picture, and that will be one of the form. And with the form here I pass one of the form. So I want to load this form on here, that will be as a crispy, and then with the CSRF token, and that will be one of the button as a submit button, and then button class, and it should be as a add picture. Okay, sorry, it should be as a add picture and then form. So friend, here one thing, so I want to update the images. So when you pass any kinds of images data, then here also we have to add one of the NC type in particular that area. So if you want to use that NC type, that would be as a NC type, and then you can see there is actually multiple form data. So make that sure you add it. Without this you cannot upload any new images. So if you want to working with the images, make that sure you add that NC type as a multi-part form data. So now if you want to access it, for access it we have to create one of the URL path, right? So in our logging and the URL here, I want to create one of the new one, and I just name it as a change. Okay, change CHANGE, change profile image. So this type of one of the name I want to declare as a change profile image. Okay, and then into the view I have created one of the function or function name as a add pro picture. That means that is our function, and I name it as a add pro picture, and also name it as add pro picture. So now I want to load our this name, that means this URL name in our particular this button area. So that is in our profile. Now go to our profile page, and with the profile page here, that is our change profile picture. Here I want to load our this URL. So that will be as a URL, and then that is in our app name as a app logging. So with this app logging I want to access our path name as a add pro picture. Now I loaded our add pro picture. So now if you click as a save all, I click as a save all. First of all I want to check that server, and into the server area here you can see it's now showing as a Django forms has no attribute as a model form area. That means that is actually the error is visible in our forms. That means forms.py. Go to our forms. So that is our forms.py, and here you can see there is actually a spelling mistake. It should be as a model form, FORM. Okay, it should be as a model form. And also for this model I want to assign some of the fields. That means our fields data. So after that here I load that field. So right now first of all I want to take all that our field data. So if you want to take, then you have to write down as a double underline as a all. So that will be as all. So that means all that form data I want to load. So that will be our form data, and also that is our profile picture. So right now I want to click as a save all, and I want to check it again. Yes, you can see our server is now totally running. So here I put one of the spelling mistake. It should be as a form data. Okay, that is a model form, and I just take all that our field. So now let's check this out. If you now click as a refresh, now click as a change profile picture. Yes, you can see. So here friend, I have used that all. Okay, you can see I have used that all. For the reasons it's also getting our all that user data. That means all that user data and then our profile picture data. So that is actually the things I have assigned in our model. Into the model here you can see that is our user data and that is our profile picture. So that is our profile picture field and that is our all that user data. So here I want to do only our profile picture. That file option will be visible. Here I don't want to visible that user. So for now in our form, into the form area, I declared our all that field. For the reasons actually is getting all the data. So if you want to display specific particular some of the field data, so right now I want to display our only this profile picture field, right? So here I want to visible it. So you have to add that with our third bracket, and then here we have to add that our profile picture. So that will be our field. I just simply added our this profile picture field will be visible. Now let's check this out. If you now click as a save all, and now if you refresh it, yeah, now you can see it's now visible only one field, and that is our profile picture. So now we have to work for our upload that image in our that means in our view, into the view, that is our method. That means this function we have to work. Okay, so how can do that work better? I want to continue this process. In our next video, I will show you that things with a live example. So thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.